Hey guys, Mike here from Sell Your Service, and I am with Kristina Romero.
Hey Mike. Hey buddy. Good
How you
to
doing?
good to chat with you today.
Yeah,
Good.
you too. It's always good to see you in the morning. So
I know, bright and early.
super bright for you. Yeah, super early. So today, kind of what I wanted actually just kind of Christina to talk about really was recurring revenue in your business. I think it's a bit of a holy grail. It's certainly something that's helped my business and our businesses grow. But we also are doing this insane, mad one-off conference, one of a type conference in Disney World, right? So first of all,
Yes.
just for those who don't know you, who's Christina Romero? What do you do?
Okay. Let's see. Where do I begin? I'll just start with the last 5 years. I
Yeah.
don't know. Um, I kind of run two different things. I'm a web agency owner, so we have, basically our list of clients that we take care of every month, and that's one source of recurring revenue for us. It's Care Media and Designs. And then I have another business called WP Care Market where I teach web professionals how to establish care plans in their business and the quality way of offering website support. And then I match web professionals we've trained with website owners who need website support in our marketplace. So that's really cool. So when you were talking about recurring revenue, I actually was crunching the numbers last night, and we're going to hit 6 figures in recurring revenue this year
No
between our two
way.
sources of recurring
That's
revenue.
awesome.
So it was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically 6 figures of revenue that I haven't touched, which have come in
Yeah.
from different sources, which is really cool, right? So, so that's kind of what I do. I'm an agency owner and a coach, and kind of a business owner,
Yep.
and on top of it all. So that's me.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, you and I have known each other for a long time, and this event
Yeah.
has been in the making for a while because we were both,
It's been in the making for a long time.
yeah,
Yes, and it began with a desire for a conference all about recurring revenue because there's all these different conferences. Both of you and I have been in the WordPress space, so there's a lot of like WordPress
mm,
specific conferences. There's a lot of business conferences about marketing or all these different subject matters, but
mm,
there really wasn't one just around recurring revenue where someone could come and just focus on creating recurring revenue product in their agency.
mhm,
And in the same way, I had been to a couple conferences where I really wanted to bring my husband, or
yeah,
or we turned it into sort of a vacation because you're using those business funds, right? And you're putting it as a business expense. It would be nice to kind of extend it as a vacation. And it was never in a place like I wanted to have a vacation. You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah, yeah,
there'd
yeah,
be,
yeah,
I'd be like, I don't
yeah,
know if I want to stick around here. So I wanted it to be a place where, it would be family friendly, or it'd be conducive to bringing, a life partner. So I connected with some of our colleagues, and this idea for the recurring revenue in Walt Disney World came up. Now, it's been a couple years in the making because when we were going to do it, I said to our colleague Robert Simmons, I don't know if it's the right time. And then a month later, I found out I was pregnant and due
yeah,
when the recurring revenue
yeah,
was going
yeah,
to be due.
yeah. I remember that
So
call. I was
that
like,
was really
oh,
helpful.
so
Yeah.
selfish, unbelievable.
So selfish. So anyway, it's on this year, and it's just amazing to see it come together.
Yeah. So August 29th and the 30th, right?
Yes, so here's what's so crazy. August 29th and the 30th, because we wanted to do it. I don't know if it's a holiday in the UK, but
Yeah, it's pretty
here
much, yeah.
it's yeah, Labor Day. So it's a nice long weekend. So most people have Monday off. So it's Thursday and Friday. So for us, my husband has Monday off. We're going to stay Saturday and Sunday, hang out, do fun things, and leave on Monday. So we kind of turned it into a nice little long trip.
Yep.
But what's also cool, we didn't know at the time, is that Star Wars Galaxy Edge is opening on the 29th in Walt Disney World. So it's like a blessing and a curse,
Yeah.
because the cool thing is for attendees that really want to see that, you do have a chance, unless Disney makes some kind of crazy rule.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of a curse because it means that our whole hotel will probably be sold out. So,
Yeah. 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 That's a really good point,
and
actually.
but yeah, yeah.
But it's interesting. So I kind of want to talk a bit about. There's so much I want to talk about with this, and we've only got like 25 minutes left. There's recurring revenue in general, and you and I have very strong feelings about that. There's also
Mhm.
the concept of going away and doing something with your partner, with your family. Like I think when you met Liv in Miami, I was like, Liv comes everywhere with me, because it just doesn't make sense for us to then go away somewhere else. And we've been very lucky that we've been able to do that in certain locations. But you're right, some of them are in places where I'm like, I don't want to be here, yet alone bring someone with me. And then also on top of that, we've got these speakers. So let's kind of just talk about, for the time being, just a little bit about recurring revenue.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me was, it was when recurring revenue was pitched, and kind of part around the conference was around, oh, it's actually a model that you should build into your business. It's not exclusive to some businesses. It's actually a choice that you can make within your business, and you should be actively trying to make that choice.
Yeah. Well, and specifically for people who run in the web space, or who want a web agency, you have all the tools to create it. And I think that's the difference, is having a conference that teaches you about how to establish recurring revenue in terms of like SaaS products, or WAS, like website as a service, or online products, digital products, online courses, care plans, or whatever, is kind of specific to someone who has the tools to do that already, meaning it's just that extra knowledge they need to decide where to go to create it. If you're running a web agency and you've got a developer and designer, and you've have the ability to create something that removes you from pieces of your business and increases that bottom line, why aren't you doing it, right? I mean, the opportunities are there, and us as kind of business owners come up with ideas all the time. And I think the problem is, you come up with the idea and you get stuck because you're going day to day to day to day to day. And what I like about calling this a retreat is exactly that. We're removing you from the distractions of the world, putting you in a room, and basically telling you all the different ways you can create recurring revenue in all these different facets, right? And from people who have done it. And it gives you the opportunity to let those ideas that you've pushed aside because you're so busy flourish, and say, you know what, I do want to make this happen. I do want to remove myself from certain parts of my business, start this dream project I've been wanting to do, and here are the resources to do it. I mean, these are the people who are doing it right now, who can answer your questions, who can give you that little piece of information you need to really push through and make that happen. And I think for all of us in this space, you know, we feel that. We know this is what we need. It's just you kind of get stuck in that day to day, and you need to be pulled out of reality in order to dream it and do it, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, well, if it's recurring revenue, then it's a customer giving me money like every month or every quarter, every week. And they're like, therefore, surely that would be harder to sell or a harder product to set up. And I'm like, no. If anything, it takes the pressure off. In fact, a lot of customers almost expect that model now for them, and it helps them with their cash flow.
Absolutely. I would say the idea behind a subscription service is so ingrained in our culture now that it's a very expected user experience. So whether you're creating a product that is a software as a system online, or a website as a system, to where they're paying you every month for that, or an online course, or some type of digital product, it is definitely an intended user experience for someone to say, oh, you want me to subscribe monthly? You know, you know, you don't have to explain that you need to support resources every month, that you need to support growth of the product. You don't really have to explain that. People sort of expect that. I mean, almost everybody has a Netflix subscription. So we're really living in a unique time, I think, for this, in that our customers are prepped for it. You know, there's the need that exists. The market isn't oversaturated in terms of different demands and needs that people need. So we are kind of in a sweet spot. And I feel like the landscape changes every 5 years. And I feel like we've been in this recurring revenue focus for like a couple years now. So we're still kind of on the breaking ground of a lot of this stuff. I mean, even depending on people's ideas and what their needs they're trying to solve. So now's the time, you know?
It's also a huge case.
I caught you when you were drinking.
Yeah, right when I was drinking. That's fine. It's scotch, so it's just to get me through the morning. The case with a lot of website agencies and like marketing agencies is they think, but I'm going to build this one-off product and I'm going to charge 10 grand, or if you listen to my stuff, 25 grand or whatever it is. And they're like, but surely the customer doesn't want to buy that each and every time, even if you know that, okay, recurring revenue is something you want to get into, and particularly, again, this retreat, you do have options, right, to be able to create recurring revenue. Just because you currently build one product doesn't mean it has to stay one-off focused.
Here's my problem with conferences and
Yep.
events is, you know, you could easily go to an event or a conference and get lost and be alone the entire time. You know, sometimes it's too big and the speakers are so far away. And the one thing when I create conferences or help organize conferences is I really want to focus on the idea that it's an intimate group of people with a similar goal. And having workshops be a part of this was
Yep.
a big like must for me. So when you sit down, you're getting, you know, these speaker sessions of all these different things you can do, but then you can attend a workshop for that specific thing you want to do and be with a limited group of people, have that hands-on experience,
Mm-hmm.
have that intimate feel. So you can say, hey, I have this $25,000 product. I don't know how to break it out into a digital product. And you can sit down with someone like Mike Killen in his workshop and say, like, how do I break this out into a funnel? Or how do I, you could sit down with Cliff Almeida, who's made
Yep.
my web audit, and say, you've done this. How do I take my product and make it a SaaS, like, you know, that can be, have a payment plan like yours? I mean, you can get those real-time answers, and even the social aspect of it, you know, all these different little pieces that we've created so that you can have these conversations with people and no one's untouchable, no one's unapproachable. And that's a big thing for me. So what's nice is you can come with questions and have
Yep.
those questions answered, and you're not like in this silo of this
Yeah.
massive event. Like, it's going to be a reasonable amount of attendees, and probably make what you and I have seen, make friends for life, you
Yeah.
know, where you find people who are doing what you're doing or similar to what you're doing, and suddenly your idea has like a business partner, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It does happen. You know, it happened
yeah.
at the Lee Jackson's agency transformation event, which was
Oh.
a few weeks ago. Same kind of process. The So when we look at, so let's talk about that a little bit, because the next thing then is the people we've got talking, and it kind of blows my mind. I'm like, these people have really done it. And what's interesting is that pretty much everyone there, roughly speaking, started in a similar industry, this very broad web agency,
Yeah.
and they now have recurring revenue in these hyper specific areas to the point where they've kind of become category kings and queens of them. Talk
Yeah.
about, like, who are some of the speakers, and what are they going to be bringing for the various people who are going to be attending?
The most important thing when choosing speakers for this event is I wanted people who were like the attendees who had just done it. So
Yeah.
it wasn't about how big the name, but it was really about what they've done. So when you take a look at some of the early ones that we added, like Cliff Almeida, who did my web audit, Matt Rodella, turnkey website solutions, yourself with Sell Your Service, myself with website care plans, and Robert Simmons with Hatman Marketing, those were the first ones to come on. But basically said, we've been where a lot of these attendees
Mm-hmm.
are, and now we've elevated our businesses to create that SaaS or that WAS or that digital product or the online care plans or SEO care or white label SEO. And then we reached outside the community and said, man, I want Corey Miller here, because Corey
Yeah.
Miller has done it, and he's done built iThemes, was able to successfully walk away from his product and start a business coaching service. So we've got Corey Miller, which is amazing. We've got Kim Doyle, same thing, right? You know, these are all attainable. These are all reachable people who have been where a lot of our attendees are and have done it. And so Kim Doyle, I think, will be speaking about online courses. We have Lee Goff, who is really around a lot of the agency training to kind of answer a lot of the questions people who know they want recurring revenue but don't know how to fit it into their business. And we have James Rose from Content Snare, who's coming all the way from Australia to our event,
Right.
which is pretty amazing. And then kind of on top of it all, which is just really amazing, is Mike Michalowicz, who is the author of Clockwork and Profit First,
Mm.
which I found out about Profit First through you. So if anyone's excited, I know it's you.
Yeah.
And he's going to be our keynote speaker, and our keynote is 90 minutes long. I mean, this is like a transformational
Yeah.
talk that he's going to give.
Yeah.
And he's going to kick off the event with basically, setting the tone for everything. And we're still even just adding in all of this goodness as it grows, but that alone is just really exciting to have that list and that lineup and all those different focuses, all those different types of products and the way that these people have done it. And they're not going to stand up, and funny enough, a lot of them are not going to stand up there and be like, this is the successful roadmap. I think a lot of them are going to discuss the pitfalls, right? The mistakes they've made, and us
mistakes I've made. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's actually what a lot of people need to learn is what the mistakes were and how to avoid them. So your return on investment is like quadrupled, right? Because you're learning from the people who have already walked through it, the mistakes they've made, what they've done, and you have this roadmap for yourself. So that is going to be absolute key for people who are attending that really want to put recurring revenue in their business.
And it's interesting, again, you talked about how the workshops and the speakers and the structure of the actual, and again, making sure that it's open to, and we'll talk about that in a bit, your partners or your spouse coming with you or your family coming with you. The environment that it sets up, I personally can't think of anything where I've seen it set up like that, because first of all, recurring revenue is less of a tactic and more of an idea. Like we're going to be, some people are going to be attending and think, I didn't even know that I had this option to be able to create this kind of revenue. And then, like you say, I know all the speakers. They're all people that I want to hang out with. And they're super approachable, like just regular cool guys who just want to help people out. It seems like a very different form of 2-day event, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this, and I think for a lot of people who are looking at the event get really excited about it for that reason, because it is unique, it is different, and we're trying to create something different with it. So I hope that comes across.
Let's kind of talk a little bit about like the location then, and bringing people along. Again, this was something that you and I think we almost joked about it, because we were like, why wouldn't you want to go with your partner? And then you realize, oh, it's because the location always sucks. It's always somewhere where you're like, I don't want to go there. It happens a lot in the UK and Europe, especially in America. Yeah. That was a really big conscious decision, right? To make it somewhere that we as a unit, as a family go, and then there's breakaway moments within it.
So my big thing, because I've planned a few of these, as you know, I've planned a few of them for different companies. And funny enough, no matter where you go, the fees and expenses of running events seem to always be the same. And
that's such a good point.
You know what I mean? It's like they all got the memo, even though they're like not, a great hotel or not an exciting place. Huh. So when we started looking into Disney and the prices to be held at Disney, it kind of blew my mind a bit. I was like, oh, this is almost exactly the same as these other places. And that's the big thing, right? Like a lot of times people have events and they're like, oh, here, choose your hotel from among whatever's in the area. You're off on your own to kind of find the hotel. So then you're staying where like nobody else is staying, and then you're getting like, a Uber or something to make your way to the event. Or if it is at like a hotel, you're bound to that like hotel and you're like, whatever's around here. And I remember going to some events and being like, all right, it's over. Now what do we do? And kind of like twiddling your thumbs. And what are you doing? What are you doing? And so most important was to be held at a Disney resort, so that when you go, there really is like an endless list of things for you to do. So you can have this sort of magical experience on top of this dreamer conference, right? Because that's kind of what it's about. We're dreamers at this conference.
Yeah.
We're heading out here to kind of dream big. So pairing it with that sort of magical venue was, I think, a perfect fit for the theme. And then what's great about Disney, if you don't know, is almost everything is tied in. So
Mm.
you can hop on a bus to go to the parks. You can hop on a bus to go to Disney Springs, which doesn't cost any money and is literally like a park. It's insane. I have an experience. You need to go on there. You're basically a stormtrooper, and it's like a 3D experience. Oh, it's amazing,
It
Mike, and
sounds
that's what you
amazing.
have to do.
Yeah.
Uh, or basically, and you could go hop on a bus to any of the other resorts, which are like a theme park,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you have all the the pools there and the restaurants and whatever. And Disney, with which we can talk about too, with the VIP ticket,
yes.
those rooms are included in the hotel. So like if you are coming and staying at the hotel, at any hotel, you want to get the VIP ticket, because the value of just staying at the hotel with the ticket for the conference makes like dumb
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So it includes airport transportation and includes all these perks. So you want to get the VIP ticket. And with that said, for Disney, we had to select a room block. And once those rooms are gone, they're gone. So that's why we had to limit the VIP tickets, because once we sell out, we can't, ask for more rooms in the room block. So people really have to move fast if they want to come and are staying, and need to stay in a hotel and not staying with grandma over in
Yeah,
Orlando.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, and this was like another kind of part of it was. It was interesting you said earlier, when you go to a conference and sometimes you kind of still feel a bit alone because there's so many people there. It's like a sport event. Like you might as well be there by yourself, you're feeling very lonely in a crowded place. The way that this has been structured is to make sure that if you arrive with no family, no partner, no friends, great. Like, we're still going to make sure that you are a part of that community moving forward and everyone has this genuinely transformative experience. I'm stoked to see some of these guys talk. But then on the other side, it is a big part of now a lot of our businesses, aside from the recurring revenue, is making sure that our family and loved ones are, if not involved, certainly very close to it. Liv knows as much about the business as I do. She's got nothing to do with it,
yes.
but she experiences it. She comes, she meets people, she knows you. It's really flipping the model of what we consider a educational conference to be.
Yes. So that is a huge part of it. Robert Simmons, who's helping,
Yeah.
who's event producing this, he brings his wife along, and he would always have to pay for a full ticket to bring her along. And for us, we just felt like, that is always a situation. My husband's coming, and I think having your partner know what it is you do, even if you don't work with them, having them be a part of it so that conversation is there as you talk at the dinner table
Yeah.
is so important. And so there
Yes.
is an ability to add on your partner for like a fraction of the price when you purchase a VIP ticket, because you're already getting the room, right? So you're bringing your partner along because you're going to have this great experience. You're going to have this room. Just add on that partner for, just a few $100s as just a totally discounted price. It was a big thing for us. And my business completely changed when my husband kind of understood what I did,
Yeah.
and he's been able to support me as I've grown this, and also able to check me.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm doing certain ideas or whatever, he'll, in a good way, like he'll check me, and I want him to check me. I want him to kind of challenge it a bit sometimes and ask me questions. So even if your partner doesn't work in the business, it's a great opportunity to bring them along. And you know what, don't buy the partner pass if they're here just to relax, because then they can just go off to Disney without you,
Right.
and then you guys can meet up later and hang out. So it really depends on where you are in your relationship. I think my husband will be like, no thanks, I'm gonna go ride a few rides, I'll see you
I
later.
reckon Liv might be joining down and going
Yeah,
off for the
Liv
day.
and Dan will be together, and then they'll come back having ridden like Flight of Passage,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we'll be
yeah,
super jealous and very
yeah.
mad about that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and it's again, it's interesting. I think these events, they're almost, because they're transformative and you're in a room with a load of people, you grow with those people, right? It's like when you go to college, you become very close friends with those people.
Yes.
That is a big part, in my opinion. That's probably the biggest transformation I think a lot of people are going to go through. And then combined with the fact that they now know how to create recurring revenue within their business, it's kind of massive.
And we wanted opportunities for that to happen. And one of the opportunities we created was the welcome reception. So VIP guests, check into the hotel on Wednesday night. So we thought, any other conference would just be like, see you in the morning. But we're like, let's create a welcome reception. So if you are traveling by yourself or you don't know anybody there, you can come to the welcome reception with, of course, Disney food, which is, I don't know if it's delicious. It's like the best chefs. It's really amazing. So with cool reception treats, come hang out and get to know some of the fellow attendees, and some of the speakers and sponsors will be there as well, just hanging out, in a very casual setting. I will say we're kind of going to announce this, and it's kind of, don't hold me to this because it's not officially announced, but pending, Mike Michalowicz will be there for a book signing. So for the VIP ticket holders, welcome reception, you can come by and get a book signed by Mike Michalowicz.
Man, he's going to be sick of me by the end of this weekend. He's gonna.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, you're gonna be like you're gonna be following him around like this.
100%.
With a little puppy dog.
No way.
So that is not even officially announced, and pretty amazing though, right?
So a podcast or a video with tens of thousands of listeners and subscribers.
No, right. So let's just say don't hold me to it, but So those are one of the little things that we, when we find opportunities, we're like, okay, if Mike's going to be here, maybe we have him do, we're like looking for opportunities for value, looking for opportunities and more to come, more value to come.
Excellent. So just kind of wrapping this up, how can people get involved? How can they find out more? The VIP tickets, there are still a few available. They're certainly going. Every time I check the little tab, I'm like, oh, okay, I need to keep getting my guys on board.
I know. I'm like, I need to tell, because I've had a few people message me that they're coming.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, have you bought a ticket? Because if you haven't bought a ticket, they're going. So the idea is there is a limited number of VIP tickets. Those come with the room, the welcome reception, the VIP swag bag, which I have found out what's in that swag bag. It's very exciting. Of course, all the usuals with the event t-shirt, with your conference access, and the lunches, the catered lunches during the day. So you're going to have lunch on Thursday and lunch on Friday with the conference, and it's going to be a pretty amazing lunch. So all of those goodies, including airport transportation when you're staying at the hotel with a VIP ticket, which is already worth like a $70 value that you're saving. There's those VIP tickets, and if you check the website at RRRetreat.live, so recurring revenue retreat, RRRetreat.live, you can see the value stack there. Now, once we do release the conference only tickets for those that don't need to stay in a hotel, are coming just for the conference, those will come on sale, and we welcome everyone coming to the conference, but you certainly want to try and secure one of those VIP tickets if you can, because the perks and values associated with that are just worth more than the price of it. Plus, a big thing for us as business owners, and of course consult your tax consultant, but with rolling in everything into one price, that's one expense so you don't have to kind of single out what's business or personal or whatever. You bought a ticket to a conference, it just happened to include your room in it, and so and all those other perks. So it's kind of that one expense that you can put as a write-off.
Awesome. I'm obviously going to put links to all of this down below, and all the information and the speakers and some of the topics already, and the VIP tickets. So if you are watching this or listening to this, I'll put all of that kind of information down in the description or the little info box. Kristina, thank you so much for coming on and talking us through that. I keep forgetting stuff. You're like, oh yeah, and there's this one. Like,
I know, it's so much. It is so much, and that's the crazy thing about this, is that it's so much. It's not like we just kind of got a conference room and then sold tickets online. There's so much involved here, because we've been to these and we want like this to be a really, really good one. So I can't wait for us to hang out, Mike. And I love that I love your obsession with Marvel, and that you said that the superheroes are going to meet their hero. That was hilarious. I love that you said that in one of your emails. I know. So it'll be fun. I'm excited. I hope people watching this video, get excited as well. And you can always reach out to Mike
Yep.
with any questions, because he does have access to details, and he can find that out for you.
Excellent. Kristina, thanks so much for coming on. Massively appreciate it. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks for having me. All right, great. Thank you.
Bye.